So we're back here on the American Sports Network after some technical issues, but there's 2 outs now in the top of the 4th. Dom Zangardi just laced a single to right field. Matt Ganschow at the plate. There goes Zangardi from first. Stopped in his tracks, but now we'll get to second. After a wild pitch goes past Nick Spanner at the plate. So 2 quick outs for the top half of the Americans lineup in the inning. Justin Gladfelter line out to first. And a David Harris ground out to second. Matt Ganschow behind in the count. 1-2. Pitch to Ganschow. Missing. Now 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Ganschow at the plate. Zangardi off second pitch. That one skied out into shallow center. Delaney went back at first. Now we'll move in a couple steps and make the play for the 3rd out of the inning. So in the inning, the Americans get no runs on 1 hit. No errors and 1 man left on base. Pioneers coming to bat here in the bottom of the 4th. They still trail the Americans 7-6. As we take a look at the PGCBL West Division standings. Updated. Batavia in first after their Game 1 victory against the Ironbacks. 24-6 now on the year. Jamestown 21-7-2. Auburn 18-10. Elmira 16-14, moving up another half a game over the Ironbacks, which puts them a full game over Niagara now after the Game 1 victory over the Americans here at Dunn Field. 16-14 on the year are the Pios. The Ironbacks have now lost their last game, like I mentioned, in Game 1. Actually, just a one-gamer against the Muck Dogs. So they stopped their 5-game win streak at 5 games. 15-15-1 on the year. Olean 12-16. Geneva 11-18. The Americans 9-24. They've lost their last 12 in a row. Newark 5-21 in that 9 spot. So you look at the standings right now. 4 teams make it into the playoffs. So if the season were to end today, it would be Batavia against Elmira, battle of the Can USA squads in round 1, as well as Jamestown versus Auburn. Then the winners face off against each other. And then eventually the winners of both sides will play against each other in a battle for the PGCBL championship, West versus East. Here's your PGCBL standings. Here's Tyler Adamo at the plate. Nobody on, nobody out. Jackson Lerner back out there for the Americans. Lands a sweeper just inside. Adamo thought it was going to hit him, but it didn't. A really nasty sweeper from Lerner. He's got that pitch working today so far. Count 1-0. Pitch way outside, now 2-0. So Adamo at the plate, getting the start in left field today for the Pioneers. Pitch, lines that one into right center. It'll fall for a base hit and split the outfielders. Adamo rounds second. He's headed for third. Rounds first, headed for second. Now headed for third. The throw, the relay from Gladfelter. Play at third. Throws high, but good backup from Jackson Lerner. So Adamo, a leadoff triple for the Pioneers. A big hit for this Elmira team, as now they have a runner at third with nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th. So we're in Game 2 of a doubleheader, a twin bill here at Dunn Field. There's nobody out in the bottom of the 3rd, a runner at third after a Tyler Adamo leadoff sliding triple. Americans will bring the infield in. Adamo at third, nobody out. Pitch, swing and a miss, strike one from Jalen Tidwell. A whole lot of extra base hits in this doubleheader between these two teams. We saw 3 straight doubles for the Americans in the first inning. Now Adamo with a triple of his own. That one misses. Now 1-1 to Jalen Tidwell. Adamo off third. Pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Lerner quickly ahead now 1-2. Strikeout right here would be huge for Jackson Lerner. Not let Tidwell put the ball in play. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. There it is. Jackson Lerner, a huge K for the first out of the inning. Americans will keep the infield in, as Lerner now will work against the 10-hitter and Tyson Gingrich. But Lerner blows a heater right by Tidwell for the first out of the inning. Lerner working out of the stretch. 0-0. Chop fouled on the first baseline for strike 1 by Gingrich. Gingrich walked his first time around, an RBI walk. Pitch from Lerner, thrown behind him, but stopped by Sabella. Gives that one a ride down the right field line, but foul. Now 1-2 to Gingrich coming. Lerner really kicking at that mound, trying to get it the way he likes it. Count is 1-2. 1 out in the inning. Another strikeout would be huge for Lerner. He deals inside, and it hits Gingrich. Gingrich wears the fastball from Lerner. Puts runners at the corners now for the Pios. Something Lerner's really been struggling with this year is those hit by pitches. Can never seem to evade them in each outing he's on the mound. Now we'll face off against the leadoff hitter, Esley, who lines that one back up the middle, through for a base hit. Adamo will score. Gingrich stops at second, so it's a game-tying RBI single for Manny Esley right up the middle, and it's knotted up 7-7 here in the bottom of the 4th. So now Gingrich off second. Adamo scored on the play. Bunt by Delaney, a good one, and that's a base hit. Caleb Delaney, a bunt single, a beauty. That'll load the bases for the Pios with 1 out in the inning. Not much Lerner could do right there. A beautiful bunt single, Caleb Delaney. So Esley moves up to second. And now Gingrich moves up to third. I'll bring up Nick Spanner, the 3-hitter here in Game 2 for the Pioneers. Bases are loaded. 1 out. Pitch from Lerner. Chopped to the left side. Fielded by Shank. He's going to go home with it and get the force out. Sabella tries to go to 1, but cannot make the double play. But a nice play by Evan Shank, keeping this game tied 7-7. Getting the force out at home And the lead runner out. So a fielder's choice 5-2 put out is the second out of the inning. Bring up Manny Castro. He bats from the right side. Pitch from Lerner. Outside misses. Lerner able to get out of this inning. Only allowing that one run would be huge, keeping this game at 7-7. Americans offense definitely alive in this game. Count 1-0 coming to Castro. Pitch. Outside misses. Gets the corner. Called a strike. So count 1-1. Bases are loaded with 2 outs in the inning. Game is tied 7-7. 1-1 pitch from Lerner. Castro skies it down the right field line. Foul. Out of play for strike 2. Castro today has a 3-run shot back in the first. Also a pop-up out in the second that turned into a 6-2-5 unassisted double play. One of the crazier plays you will ever see on a baseball diamond. Bases are loaded for the Pios. Lerner ahead 1-2. His pitch. Sweeper off the plate. Now 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bases are loaded. Lerner on the mound against Castro. Pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Jackson Lerner, a big strikeout. Live free or die. He wins the battle of the New Hampshire natives. 7-7. The game is still tied as we head to the top of the 5th. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Bully Hill Vineyards for their support all season long. On the south end of gorgeous Keuka Lake, you can taste over 40 wines and enjoy food at a family-friendly winery open 7 days a week. Visit bullyhillvineyards.com to learn more about what they have to offer. The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the ongoing support of Blaze Brockway Contracting. Family owned and operated for over 15 years, Blaze Brockway Contracting specializes in all aspects of remodeling and renovation. Call 607-259-7607 for all of your construction and home improvement needs. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Coca-Cola for their support this season. Known for its refreshing bubbles and iconic flavor, Coca-Cola is the world's best-selling carbonated soft drink. Snag a Coke right here at the Sal Magley Stadium concession stand and make your game day even sweeter. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Bully Hill Vineyards for their support all season long. On the south end of gorgeous Keuka Lake, you can taste over 40 wines and enjoy food at a family-friendly winery open 7 days a week. Visit bullyhillvineyards.com to learn more about what they have to offer. Game tied 7-7. Jackson Lerner able to get out of a bases-loaded jam, only allowing 1 run. Manny Castro, a native of Manchester, New Hampshire. Jackson Lerner, a native of Stratham, New Hampshire. So able to get his fellow New Hampshire native out on a strikeout. Score 7-7. Americans have 9 hits to the Pios just 4. We're a few miles north of the Pennsylvania state line in a town of 26,000 residents, the site of the Civil War prisoner of war camp, dubbed Elmira by inmates, that at its peak held more than 12,000 Confederate soldiers in 1860s. Also home to minor league hockey and basketball. As we rejoin this one here in the top of the 5th, 7-7 is your score. Favada pops that one foul behind home for strike 1. Catch made in the crowd. Fans excited. So Favada at the plate today. He's 1 for 1 with a stolen bag, a hit by a pitch, and a single his last time at the dish. In the third, we're in the top of the fifth. Here's the 0-1. Misses. Upstairs, now 1-1. Favada playing for the Pioneers last summer, now moving to the Americans this summer. Here's the 1-1. Taken upstairs again, now 2-1. For a ball. Favada's brother Colin played at Dean. His aunt played volleyball at Duquesne. So comes from a family of college athletes. Count 2-1. Nelson deals to Favada. Outside corner gets past Spanner behind the plate. So now 3-1. Favada working a good at-bat. This game knotted up at 7. We're in game 2 of a PGCBL West Division 7-inning twin bill. Favada at the plate. Count is 3-1. He's ahead of Zachary Nelson out there for his 5th inning of work. Deals to Favada. Favada skies that one out to deep left. Going back is Adamo at the warning track, at the wall. It's off the wall. Favada thought it was gone. Not running hard out of the box. Now sprints towards second and makes it with a stand-up double. Favada clearly thought that ball was gone off the bat, but it hit off the top of the wall. So a leadoff double for Vinny Favada, and the Americans have a runner in scoring position here to lead off the top of the 5th. Favada thought that was home run number 2 on the year, but it just missed, maybe about 5 feet. So he's at second now with nobody out to bring up Logan Stickler, who's got a home run in this ballgame. Pitch to Stickler, fouled off. So he's behind 0-1. Nelson at 79 pitches so far here. Through 4 complete, now working into the 5th. 52 of 79 of them are strikes. Favada off second, a good lead, deals to Stickler, swing and a miss, strike 2. So count 0-2, Nelson ahead of Stickler, Favada off a second. Stickler 1 for 2 today with 4 RBIs. Pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Stickler down on strikes for the first time tonight. A big strikeout from Nelson. Keeping Favada at second now with 1 out in the inning. That'll bring up Adam Weiss, who had a huge 2-run single that gave the Americans a 7-6 lead back in the 3rd. Pitch to Weiss, misses up and in. So that hit by Weiss gave the Americans a 7-6 lead after they were trailing 6-5. Now Weiss were able to hit another one of those singles and give the Americans an 8-7 lead. 1-0 to Weiss. Pitch. That one skied into shallow right. Coming on, Gingrich. He makes the play. Weiss is retired for the 2nd out of the inning, and Favada's got to stay put at second. Would be really killer if the Americans were to strand a leadoff double in Favada. It'll come up to Anthony Savino now to be a clutch hitter for the red, white, and blue. So the hometown hero at the plate for the red, white, and blue. First pitch of the at-bat. That one skied into shallow center, drifting out. Tidwell, he makes the play. So Nelson works around a leadoff double from Vinny Favada and forces 3 straight outs on the play. So no runs in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. We're headed to the bottom of the 5th, still knotted up at 7 here at Dunn Field, home of the Elmira Pioneers. Special thank you to Tropical Heating and Cooling for sponsoring the Niagara Falls Americans this season. A locally owned and operated HVAC company, Tropical Heating and Cooling specializes in installing, repairing, and maintaining residential heating, cooling, and indoor air quality systems. Sorry for the pause there. Proudly supporting local baseball and local homes. Visit tropicalheating.net or call 716-870-0753 to submit a service request today. So a new pitcher out there for the Americans in Dominic Zangardi. The Americans making a couple changes in the outfield, as well as in the infield, with Zangardi coming in on the mound. He was in right field. So Sabella remains behind the plate, but a couple other changes in the infield. Now looking at this new defensive alignment for the Americans. So Gladfelter shifting from shortstop out to right field. His first appearance in the outfield this season. He's going to play right now that Zangardi comes in on the mound. Alex Glasscock enters into the game. He's going to play second. Savino will move over to shortstop from second base. And then Logan Stickler enters into the game at first base. Adam Weiss now out of the game for the red, white, and blue. There's your new defensive alignment, except Harmon is no longer on the mound. So that was from the start, as Zangardi now shifts to the mound for the Americans. So take a look at those changes. Zangardi, Sabella, the new battery. Stickler now at first. Glasscock now at second. Savino now at short. And it's Gladfelter now in right instead of Zangardi. So interesting move from Will Cordero and Dan Brick, the coaching staff of the Americans, to run Justin Gladfelter out to right field for the first time this year. As we head to the bottom of the fifth, Dominic Zangardi on the mound. His first inning of work. First pitch, his fastball in the zone, called strike. 0-1. Pitch from Zangardi in there, called strike 2. Grooving the zone already is Dom Zangardi, an incoming freshman at Niagara University in the fall. Was in right field, now coming in on the mound. Here's the 0-2, outside corner, just misses with the off-speed pitch. Now 1-2, Zangardi going to be an outfielder only at Niagara, but has a lot of experience on the mound at Dallas High School in Pennsylvania. Misses outside there, now 2-2. In high school, Zangardi, the 2025 team MVP, first team all-conference, second team all-state. Starred in center field and on the mound for Dallas. Recorded 100 career strikeouts in high school, as that one's fouled straight back by Alex Davis. We're now in the bottom of the fifth. Game knotted up at 7. Count is 2-2. Nobody on, nobody out for the Pioneers. They're at the plate. Zangardi deals a 2-2. Check swing by Davis. Did he go around? No, he did not. That'll make the count full. Davis 0 for 1 today with a hit by pitch and a fly out to center. Zangardi deals the full count pitch low. So a heck of an at-bat for Alex Davis. Able to work it full and then a walk after being down 0-2 after 2 straight fastballs right in the zone by Zangardi. That'll bring up Brandon Dubeck at the plate. Not much speed at the plate for the Pios. Dubeck. So a ground ball is likely 2 for the Americans. Zangardi's pick off to first. Close. But Davis back in time. Nobody out in the inning. Zangardi, a southpaw out there on the mound for the red, white, and blue. Pitch, fastball outside corner just off the plate, ball 1. Count now 1-0, Zangardi behind. 4 straight balls. Pitch. Outside corner gets called strike. Now 1-1. Zangardi's 5th appearance on the mound this season. Has a 1.23 ERA in 7 1/3 innings. Pitch. That one just misses low. Now 2-1. Thought it clipped the bottom of the zone with the fastball, but just missed. Zangardi, a .362 hitter and a 1.23 ERA. How about that? 7 1/3 innings, allowing 6 hits, 3 runs, but only 1 earned. Pick off the first. Looks like Davis is caught on back in time. Stickler, first appearance of the year at first base for him now in the game. Zangardi working out of the stretch. Here's the 2-1. That one's lined into right field. Coming on, Gladfelter, his first try, makes a sliding grab. Justin Gladfelter enters into the game in the top of the 5th and makes the first out of the inning on his first play in right field of the season. How about Gladfelter? Tested right away out there in the 9 spot on the field and makes a nice sliding grab for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Jack Aylward. 0 for 1 today with a pop out and a hit by pitch. First pitch from Zangardi, cut on and missed. Strike 1 by Aylward. So 0-1, we're in the bottom half of the 5th. 6 outs left for the Americans to scratch across the run. 1 run. They're counting on Zangardi, looks like, to hold this lead. A really good outing from Jackson Lerner out of the bullpen. Zangardi checks on him at first, delivers a fastball in the inside corner, called a strike. A nice spot there by Zangardi. Makes it an 0-2 count, which he's done in 2 of the 3 at-bats so far in this outing. Here's the 0-2. Fastball. That one's lined on the left field line. Ganchow chasing after it. It's going to land foul. Probably by about 3 feet or so. Zangardi catches a break. That Aylward was just out in front of that 0-2 pitch. So it will remain 0-2. Lerner went 3 innings, allowed 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned. No walks for Lerner and 2 strikeouts. A really good outing for a guy that comes in and out of this bullpen a lot, has been used a ton this season. So good to see that he only allowed 1 run in those 3 innings. If you're an Americans fan, you got to be happy with that outing. That one misses in the dirt. A heck of a block by Sabella back there behind the dish. Keeps Davis from scampering to second. So count now 1-2. Pitch. That one's bounced to short. Savino charging. Plays on the backhand. He's got 1 play. Goes across the diamond and makes it. A nice play by the hometown hero for the second out of the inning. So he retires Aylward at first. So Davis moves up to second on the play. That'll bring up Tyler Adamo from Columbia. Adamo out of Linfield, Massachusetts. Didn't play this past year at Columbia, but going to be a sophomore there in the fall. There goes Davis for third. He's got it easy. Alex Davis swipes third without a throw. Americans lost track of Davis on the bases right there. Now he's 90 feet away from giving the Pios a lead here in the bottom of the 5th. That could prove to be huge. That's in the dirt. A big block from Sabella. Zangardi got to put all his trust in his catcher to block any ball in the dirt because something gets by. Suddenly, the Pioneers have an 8-7 lead. 2 outs now in the bottom of the 5th. 2-0 count. Zangardi deals to Adamo. That one's skied out to deep right. Gladfelter going back near the track, near the wall. It's off the top of the wall. Adamo rounds first. He's headed for second, and he makes it. Now Adamo trips at second. Looks like his right ankle is hurt. But an RBI double gives the Pioneers an 8-7 lead here in the bottom of the 5th as Adamo looks really shaken up on the play. Gladfelter tracking that one back. Almost looked like he had a shot, but then pulled up right in front of the warning track. Adamo gives the Pioneers the lead with one swing, but a scary sight for Pioneers fans is Adamo, a really good player this year for this team. Playing second base now in left field tonight as he's going to step up. Looks like he's all right. He's going to walk it off, actually. So maybe what he thought was so bad might not have been. Now looks like he's going to be all right. He's walking it off. Looks like he twisted that ankle at second base, but he might stay in this game. Gave the Pios an 8-7 lead on a double to right field. Hopping around out there. Looks like he's all right. A good sight for Pioneers fans. So the Pioneers 5 hits on the ball game. They now lead 8-7. Adamo going to jog around, make sure it feels all right. Zangardi surrendering the lead in his first inning of work after just allowing one runner on due to a walk and then getting over after a stolen base and a ground out. So Zangardi looked good, but lets up a double as Adamo now looks like he's going to come out of this game. Substitution Trevor Reed coming in for Adamo, so Reed will take over in left. I would assume because played left in game number 1. You wouldn't think Andrew Drum will make another decision like that to have to put in another body. Zangardi is just going to throw a quick pitch or two to get loose again, as that'll bring up Jalen Tidwell. That one skied to foul ground on the first base lines. Long run for Stickler and Gladfelter. Neither will get there. So that's strike number 1. So Zangardi quickly ahead 0-1 here against Tidwell, the shortstop for the Pioneers. 2 outs in the inning. Trevor Reed now off second in for Adamo. That one taken outside, a ball missing upstairs. Now 1-1. Zangardi didn't like the call. Very, very close with the fastball. That one skied foul behind home. So now 1-2. 2 outs in the inning. Tidwell today 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch. Came around to score as well as a strikeout his last time up last inning. Zangardi working out of the stretch. There he goes for third, but fouled off again. Reed taking off for third, looking to steal third base for the second time of the inning for the Pioneers. In the inning, the Pios have 1 run on 1 hit. A Tyler Adamo double to right field scored Alex Davis, who walked to lead off the inning. Leadoff walks proved to be killer for any arm out there on the mound. Count 1-2, Zangardi against Tidwell. 2 outs in the inning. Zangardi checks Reed at second, delivers. That one skied on the edge of the infield grass. Now drifting out into center. Glasscock makes the play for the 3rd out of the inning, but not before the Pios add on to their run total. They now lead 8-7 after 1 run on 1 hit in the inning. No errors and just 1 runner left on base. The Pioneers lead the Americans 8-7. The red, white, and blue have 6 outs left to work with here against the Pioneers to see if they can mount a comeback here at Dunn Field. You're watching PGCBL Baseball right here on the American Sports Network.
The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the support of Stalka Agency. Serving Western New York since 1957, Stalka Agency makes insurance simple through proactive planning and straightforward conversations. Call the local Stalka insurance team at 716-634-7070 to get a tailored insurance quote that's as precise as a pitcher painting the outside corner. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank TLC Pet Food for their continued support. Specializing in nutrient-dense recipes, TLC Pet Food offers dog and cat food with fresh ingredients and added probiotics. Find the whole life dog and cat formulas for your furry friend at tlcpetfood.com. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank McDonald's for being a sponsor of the team this year. With an extensive menu of well-known favorites, McDonald's is famous for its convenience. Especially during a long baseball season, McDonald's is the perfect place to grab a quick bite to eat and get right back to the ballpark. So head to your nearest McDonald's and enjoy all the classics. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Coca-Cola for their support this season. Known for its refreshing bubbles and iconic flavor, Coca-Cola is the world's best-selling carbonated soft drink. Snag a Coke right here at the Sal Magley Stadium concession stand and make your game day even sweeter.
So we're now back here in the top of the 6th. Pioneers lead the Americans 8-7. Back out there for the Pios on the mound is Zachary Nelson, out for his 6th inning of work. Nelson in this game, a horse on the mound, has allowed 7 runs on 10 hits, but still going. Still got gas in the tank. Pioneers running him back out there. 81 pitches here as he will face Michael Sabella to lead off the top of the 6th. Deals the 0-0. Sabella takes it. Called strike number 1. Dunn Field, home of the Elmira Pioneers, seats 4,020 here in the Southern Tier. Count 0-1 to Sabella, switch hitter batting from the left side. Pitch. Sabella drives that one to the right side of the infield and through for a base hit. And that'll get by the outfielders. It'll roll all the way to the wall. Sabella rounds first. He's headed for second. Now headed for third. Sabella chugging. He gets there. It's a leadoff triple for Michael Sabella. And the Americans have a runner in scoring position at third to lead off the top of the 6th in an 8-7 ball game. That'll bring up Evan Shank as the Pioneers will bring the infield in. So not the triple that Mike Sabella had drawn up, but he gets a triple out of it. Pitch to Shank, misses up and in for ball 1. So now nobody out, and Michael Sabella on third after a leadoff triple from the Americans' catcher. Pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1 from Shank. Shank been really struggling at the plate as of late. He's 0 for 2 today. Now 0 for his last 13 with 7 strikeouts in those 13 at-bats. Here's the 1-1 to Shank. Fouls that one back, now 1-2. Shank could really end a big slump and come through for his team right here, right now, if he's able to drive in Sabella from third. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. Sabella off third. Pioneers have the infield in. Shank batting from the right side against the righty Nelson. Nelson out of the stretch deals the 1-2. Check swing by Shank, doesn't go around. Now 2-2. Shank played this past year at Tompkins Cortland Community College. Played 37 games, hit .298 with 6 doubles, a triple, and a homer. 21 RBIs. Hit 4th for a majority of the season. Here's the 2-2 to Shank. Misses low, now 3-2. Shank getting to start at third base tonight has seen some time at first this summer for the Americans. For Tompkins Cortland, he spent time in left field, second base, right field, and third base. Count is 3-2. Nelson deals to Shank, fouled back. Good at bat put together here for Evan Shank, staying alive against Nelson. Bases are loaded. 3-2 count. Nobody out in the inning. Sabella at third, That plunks Shank. So Shank reaches with the hit by pitch. Now runners at the corners. Now bases loaded. But nobody out in the inning. Americans have runners at the corners now with Justin Gladfelter coming up, the leadoff hitter. And looks like that might do it for Zachary Nelson. Conversation on the mound as the Pioneers going to call on the bullpen here in the top of the sixth. You're watching PGCBL Baseball on the American Sports Network.
The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the support of Stalka Agency. Serving Western New York since 1957, Stalka Agency makes insurance simple through proactive planning and straightforward conversations. Call the local Stalka insurance team at 716-634-7070 to get a tailored insurance quote that's as precise as a pitcher painting the outside corner. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank TLC Pet Food for their continued support. Specializing in nutrient-dense recipes, TLC Pet Food offers dog and cat food with fresh ingredients and added probiotics. Find the whole life dog and cat formulas for your furry friend at tlcpetfood.com. A special thank you to Tropical Heating and Cooling for sponsoring the Americans this season. Locally owned and operated, Tropical Heating and Cooling provides expert installation, repair, and maintenance for home heating, cooling, and air quality systems. Call 716-870-0753 or head to tropicalheating.net to submit a service request and knock your heating and cooling needs out of the park. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Bully Hill Vineyards for their support all season long. On the south end of gorgeous Keuka Lake, you can taste over 40 wines and enjoy food at a family-friendly winery open 7 days a week. Visit bullyhillvineyards.com to learn more about what they have to offer.
So a new pitcher entering into the ball game for the Elmira Pioneers with runners at the corners and nobody out. It's Ryan Kristoff, traditionally a corner infielder, but now coming on to pitch for the Pios. One outing on the year earlier in the week, actually a week ago from today, pitched against the Jamestown Tarpskunks in an 18-7 loss. He went 2 innings, surrendered 2 hits, but no runs. Also had a strikeout. Kristoff attends Niagara University, so a familiar face on the mound. Teammates with Dom Zangardi and Matt Ganschow, who are both slated to come up this inning if the Americans can extend it one more hitter. So runners at the corners, nobody out for Justin Gladfelter, the leadoff hitter for the red, white, and blue. Kristoff working out of the stretch. Shank off first. Gladfelter at the plate. Pitch upstairs misses. 1-0. You wonder if they decide to send Shank here with first and third to try to avoid the double play. Shank, no steals on the year. Gladfelter at the plate. Count 1-0. There goes Shank for second. Pitch is high. Throw down to second. Shank's in there safe. Beats the throw. So count is now 2-0. Runners at second and third for the Americans. Shank barely beat the throw, but he got there. Nice slide in as well. Pios will bring the infield in here against Gladfelter. Kristoff out of the stretch. 2-0. Deals to Gladfelter. Fouled straight back. all over it. Base hit could give the Americans the lead. Gladfelter in game number 1 was 2 for 4. Reached base 3 out of 4 times. Hit a triple. Came around to score on the play on an overthrow. Count 2-1. Kristoff out of the stretch. Deals to Gladfelter. Sky down the right field line, but it's going to go foul. Count even at 2. Yeah, Gladfelter in the 7th inning of the first game had a triple to right center, then scored on an E4. A bad throw on a relay made the game 11-8. But the Americans were unable to score anymore. Count 2-2. Kristoff against Gladfelter. Pitch upstairs misses. Now 3-2. A big pitch incoming for both squads out on the diamond right now. Nobody warming for the Americans. Looks like next inning is all Dom Zangardi. An arm getting loose for the Pioneers as we speak. 3-2 pitch. Kristoff deals. Gladfelter pops it up in the infield, right back to Kristoff. He's sawed off and gets the first out of the inning. A huge one for Ryan Kristoff. A pop out by Justin Gladfelter. Not what you want to see if you're an Americans fan. Gladfelter jammed on a heater by Ryan Kristoff. There's the first out of the inning. That'll bring up David Harris. Mr. Consistent. Harris 1 for 3 today. Had a double back in the first. Zangardi on deck, keeping his spot in the order, even after he came in to pitch. It'll be an 0-0 to Harris. Here's the pitch from Kristoff. Outside, missing 1-0. Ryan Kristoff on the mound. Out of the bullpen for the Pios, a 6'2", 200-pound sophomore at Niagara University. Count 1-0. He deals to Harris. Up and in. Misses. Now 2-0. Kristoff this past year at Niagara did not appear in a game, but at Windsor High School, he was named to the New York State All-State First Team, a very solid physical 3-sport athlete in high school. Basketball, baseball, and football. Played wide receiver and offensive. Missing upstairs. Played wide receiver and outside linebacker, excuse me. Also played forward in basketball. 6'2". This year for the Pios, hitting .226 at the plate with 3 RBIs. He's behind in the count to Dave Harris, 3-0. See if Harris turns loose. 3-0. Harris taking all the way. Now 3-1. So a really good hitter's count pitch coming for Dave Harris, who is 1 for 3 today. Had one of those doubles back in the first, like I mentioned. The other 2 doubles came off the bats of the next 2 guys in the order for the Americans. 3-1 pitch from Kristoff to Harris. Harris gives it a ride down the left field line. A long run for Trevor Reed. He won't get there. So Trevor Reed entering the game for Adamo out there. I wonder if Adamo might have been able to run that down. A very speedy guy out there in left. But he's out of this game after that ankle injury. That happened on the double that he hit. Harris at the plate, count full. 1 out in the inning. Americans need a base hit to take the lead. A fly ball ties it. Ground ball in the infield. May not do anything with the Pios infield in, depending on where it's hit. Count 3-2, 1 out. Kristoff out of the stretch. Deals to David Harris. Skied foul. Harris, 2 for 4 in that first game of the doubleheader. An infield single and a base hit through the right side. Currently 12 for his last 22 at the plate. 3-2 pitch coming from Kristoff to Harris. Here it is. Skied foul once again. Harris putting together a really good at-bat now. 3 foul balls in a row. Count remains full. Kristoff, a 4-year letter winner, also a 4-time all-conference guy at Windsor High School. Very, very impressive high school season. Be interested to see how he does this year at Niagara. Count 3-2. Big pitch incoming. Kristoff deals to Harris. Popped foul once again, out of play. Harris, a guy that really loves getting that ball deep in the zone and hitting it the other way, which is what he is trying to do at the moment. Just letting it get a little bit too deep right now. As he keeps following it off. So Kristoff against Harris. Pios lead 8-7. We're in the top of the 6th. 1 out in the inning. Shank off second. Sabella off third. Kristoff's pitch to Harris. Fouled straight back. Harris right on that one. One of the longer at-bats you'll see this year. 2 weeks left here in the PGCBL season after today. Americans will play 4 games at home this week, 2 on the road. And then end their season with 2 at home, 2 on the road the following week. Kristoff against Harris. Harris looking for his second hit of the night and first RBI of the game. 3-2 from Kristoff. He delivers. Harris lines that to right field, a base hit. Sabella comes around to score. Shanking around third, getting the wave home. It's bobbled in right by Gingrich. Shank will score. It's a huge 2-out RBI single by David Harris. 1-out RBI single makes it a 9-8 ball game. David Harris comes through for the Americans. Mr. Consistent, his second hit of the ball game, gives the Americans a 9-8 lead here in the top of the 6th, and they're not done. Harris is off first. Zangardi at the plate against his teammate at Niagara and Ryan Kristoff. Harris a threat to run at first. Good secondary. Zangardi takes a pitch up and away for ball 1. Americans have lost their last 12 in a row. Can it end today? David Harris, a huge 1-out, 2-run single to right field. 4th hit of the day, 2nd of the ball game. There he goes for second. Zangardi takes up and in a ball. Thrown on a second. Harris swipes the bag. He's in there. So now another runner in scoring position for the red, white, and blue. It's the second stolen base of the game for the red, white, and blue. 2-0. Pitch to Zangardi. Inside. Misses now 3-0. Way ahead in the count with Ganschow looming on deck. Another teammate of Kristoff's at Niagara. So Michael Sabella started the inning with a triple that got all the way to the wall in right center. Evan Shank hit by a pitch. Stole second. Pitch to Zangardi. Popped up. Foul ground on the first baseline. Hacking 3-0. Alward gives it a look, but it's out of play. Zangardi catches a huge break right there. Swinging 3-0. Popping out right there would have been massive for this Pioneers team. So Zangardi will step back in the box. Counter is now 3-1. Kristoff out of the stretch. Checks on Harris at second. Now delivers the 3-1. Misses ball 4. Americans have first and second now with 1 out, and Ryan Kristoff will face off against Matt Ganschow. These guys notice each other, obviously. Teammates at Niagara. A little mutual head nod. First and second for the Americans. One out here in the top of the 6th. 9-8 game. Pitch to Ganchow. Swing and a miss. Strike one. Kristoff laughing. Ganchow laughing as well. These guys, teammates at Niagara, now on the stage in collegiate summer ball. Good relationship between the two of them. Zangardi off first, Harris off second. Kristoff out of the stretch. Deals to Ganchow. Misses away. Now 1-1. So Zangardi reached with a walk after a Harris RBI single to right. Americans have first and second. They're not done yet. They lead 9-8. They would love more insurance for Zangardi on the mound. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Harris takes off for third. Pitch. Ganchow lines it to deep right. Back goes Gingrich at the warning track. It's off the wall. Harris had to go back to second. He thought that was getting caught. Now we'll round third. Zangardi's going to stop at third. Harris will score on the play. Ganchow, an RBI double. Now 10-8, the Americans lead here at Dunn Field. Ganchow's second double of the game. Makes it 10-8. Zangardi now on third. Great job by David Harris. A tough base running spot to be in. Took off for third. Him and Zangardi were running on the play. Saw it in the air. Had to go back to second. Thought it was getting caught. Then turned around. Harris definitely dizzy on that play, but ended up scoring. Piles bring the infield in. Here's Vinny Favada. First pitch. Misses upstairs. Ball 1. It's Ganchow's second double of the ball game. He leads this team in extra base hits. Third double of the ball game. And first RBI of the ball game. Pitch to Favada. Misses. Americans have now scored 3 runs in the inning. They lead 10-8. Favada ahead 2-0. The pitch. Fastball outside corner. Gets the call. Does Kristoff. So now 2-1. One out here in the top of the 6th. A long but productive inning for the red, white, and blue. 2-1. Kristoff out of the stretch. Takes a deep breath. Deals to Favada. Upstairs. Now 3-1. Vinny Favada been really hot at the plate as of late. Now batting over 300 on the season. He's played in 7 of the last 12 games for the Americans after not having a single at-bat in the previous 12 games. Come on for this Americans team. 3-1. Misses low. Favada works a walk, and that'll load the bases. Another mound visit incoming, and it looks like the Pios will call on the bullpen once again in the inning as Logan Stickler's coming up with the bases loaded. Here in the top of the 6th. Stickler already a grand slam in this game. Pios cannot afford to surrender another run, so they'll make a pitching change, and we'll step aside here on the American Sports Network. I'm Tom Rook. We're in the top of the 6th inning. Americans lead 10-8 here at Dunn Field.
Sammy's Pizzeria has been family-owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and are the originators of the 1/2 tray of pizza. The Americans would like to thank Sammy's for sponsoring the team this season. Pick up all your favorites right across the street from Sal Magley Stadium at Sammy's Pizzeria. The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the support of Greater Together Credit Union. Greater Together Credit Union provides personalized banking, loans, mortgages, and savings accounts for anyone living, working, or attending school in Erie or Niagara counties. For more information, current rates, or to apply for membership, visit greatertogethercu.com. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Coca-Cola for their support this season. Known for its refreshing bubbles and iconic flavor, Coca-Cola is the world's best-selling carbonated soft drink. Snag a Coke right here at the Sal Magley Stadium concession stand and make your game day even sweeter. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank McDonald's for being a sponsor of the team this year. With an extensive menu of well-known favorites, McDonald's is famous for its convenience. Especially during a long baseball season, McDonald's is the perfect place to grab a quick bite to eat and get right back to the ballpark. So head to your nearest McDonald's and enjoy all the classics.
So a familiar face back on the mound for the Pioneers here in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Tommy Cheplik back out there for the Pios after firing some bullets in Game 1. In Game 1 against the Americans, Cheplik came out of the pen and pitched an inning, surrendered 1 run on 2 hits, but an unearned run. Closed it out for the Pios. Gladfelter tripled in the inning and scored on the errant throw. But Cheplik, 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 run, and had 2 strikeouts as well. Only threw 12 pitches, 9 of which were strikes. Logan Stickler digs in. He's got a grand slam in this game. Looking to make it 2, Fernando Tatis Sr. style pitch. Outside, misses. That would actually be 2 slams in an inning, but still the same. It takes outside, ball 1. So count 1-0 to Stickler. Pitch. Stickler gives that one a drive deep to left field. Away back. It's gone. Logan Stickler's 2nd grand slam of the ball game. 8 RBIs. And the Americans take a 14-8 lead here at Dunn Field. Logan Stickler, the hero. The Americans have lost 12 games in a row. So you'd love to say that could do it, but you never know. How about Logan Stickler? Drives that one to deep left field. Make sure Stickler touched home. He did. 8 RBIs on the game. His 2nd grand slam. Americans lead 14-8. Alex Glasscock's first at-bat of the ball game. Brandon Drum out there to talk to the home plate umpire. Again, make sure Stickler touched home when he ran around the bases, which he did. They appealed it. First pitch to Glasscock, misses upstairs. 1-0. So the Americans now lead 14-8. Nobody on base, 1 out in the inning. A huge grand slam for Logan Stickler, 2nd of the ball game. Off Tommy Cheplik in relief for the Pios. That one's in there, called strike. Now 1-1 against Alex Glasscock. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Inside, fastball, called a strike. Now 1-2. Glasscock behind in the count, 1-2. Pitch. Chop to the left side. Fielded by Castro, going across the diamond. Gets Glasscock by his step for the 2nd out of the inning. That'll bring up Anthony Savino, 2 outs in the inning. Savino at the plate, batting from the right side. So many amazing moments in today's doubleheader. Think about Stickler, 2 grand slams, a huge 3-run shot from Manny Castro in the game. Then that's only game 2. Game 1, so many others. That one another ball by Cheplik, so now 2-0. Bases are empty for Savino. Americans up 6 runs. Could this be the game that the losing streak comes to an end? We'll have to see. The Pios down to their final 6 outs, but this inning not even over with yet. With Savino at the plate. Pitch. Savino gives that one a ride down the left field line. That'll fall for a base hit. Coming over, and Reed misplays it out in left. Savino headed for second. He's going to make it. See how that one scored, but definitely a base hit for Savino. Down the left field line for the Americans. Probably going to be a double either way. And that'll bring up Michael Sabella, who started this inning with a triple. Sabella bats from the left side. Switch hitter against the righty Cheplik. Takes outside, ball 1. Will the Pios ever get out of this inning? It seems like this inning has taken the whole game. A 7-run inning for the Americans. Count is 1-0. Sabella ahead. 2 outs in the inning. Pitch. Sabella takes it inside. That gets by Spanner behind the plate. Savino moves up 90 feet closer. He's now at third. So 2 balls. Sabella at the plate. Americans ahead by 6 runs now. Cheplik behind 2-0. Pitch from Sabella to Sabella. Misses low. Now 3-0. Cheplik pitching in relief for the second game today. Threw in game 1. Just in inning 12 pitches, but now in for his second inning of relief. Here's the 3-0. Sabella takes it. It's down the middle. A strike. Taking all the way right there. Making Cheplik work on the mound for the Pios. There's another ball 4. So that'll bring up Evan Shank. His second at-bat of the inning. We're in the top half of the 6th inning. Runners at the corners for the Americans. They lead by 6. Sabella at first after a walk. Now off first. Pitch to Shank. Checks his swing. Doesn't go around, though. So 1-0. Shank's got a hit by pitch and a stolen base in the inning. Sabella off first. In there, called strike. Savino now out off third. After his double and a wild pitch. Pitch to Shank in the dirt. A good block. Back there by Spanner. Saved a run. Shank at the plate ahead in the count 2-1. Pitch. In there. Called strike. Now 2-2. Runners at the corners. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Americans have a 6-run lead here over the Pioneers in game 2 of a doubleheader. Pitch. Shank dribbles that one down the third baseline, foul. Shank staying alive here. Count is even at 2. 2 outs in the inning. Pitch. Line down the third baseline by Castro. Another run will score. Evan Shank, an RBI single, breaks a 15 at-bat hitless streak and gets an RBI in the play. And the Americans lead 15-8 now over the Pioneers. Here in the top of the 6th. That continues the inning. And that'll bring up Justin Gladfelter once again. Here, his second at-bat in the inning as well. Sabella moves to second. Savino scores on the play. First pitch to Gladfelter's in there, a called strike. 0-1. The 0-1 from Cheplik outside gets the call. Now 0-2. Gladfelter did not like the call. Caught the outside corner. Shank off first. Sabella off second. Gladfelter at the plate. Count is 0-2. 2 outs here in the inning. Pitch. Grounded to the left side and through for a base hit. Sabella. He's going to stop at third. So station to station for the Americans. Gladfelter gets a base hit. Bases are loaded once again, this time for David Harris. I mean, this inning, the Americans have had the bases loaded now twice. They lead 15-8. Harris at the plate. Does not have a home run on the year, but if he did get one here, it would be 3 slams in one game for the Americans. Pitch to Harris. Bounced up the middle and through for a base hit. Sabella scores. Here comes Shank around third. He will score as well. Gladfelter goes from first to third on the play. And Harris, a 2 RBI single. His second 2 RBI single of the inning. And the Americans are pouring it on. Here in the top of the 6th, they now lead 17-8. Gonna bring up Dominic Zangardi. So Shank and Sabella score on the play. Gladfelter now at third, Harris off first. Pitch down the left field line. A diving play by Trevor Reed ends the inning, robbing Dominic Zangardi of extra bases. So finally, the Pioneers get the inning-ending play. But what an inning for the Americans. Pouring it on. They've lost 12 in a row. Is this the night? It's looking so. As Zangardi trots back out. 6 outs away from ending a crazy losing streak here at Dunn Field. I'm Tom Ruck. You're listening and watching to PGC Bell Baseball here on the American Sports Network.
The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the ongoing support of Blaze Brockway Contracting. Family owned and operated for over 15 years, Blaze Brockway Contracting specializes in all aspects of remodeling and renovation. Call 607-259-7607 for all of your construction and home improvement needs. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Bully Hill Vineyards for their support all season long. On the south end of gorgeous Keuka Lake, you can taste over 40 wines and enjoy food at a family-friendly winery open 7 days a week. Visit bullyhillvineyards.com to learn more about what they have to offer.
Back here at Dunn Field in the bottom of the sixth, the Americans lead 17-8 after a 10-run inning. Dom Zangardi back on the hill. First pitch, and he hits Tyson Gingrich to lead off the bottom of the sixth. Gingrich looks like he's going to be all right. But not a pretty sight by any means to see a hit batsman. That'll bring up back to the top of the order for the Pios in Manny Esley. Good speed at the plate, so unlikely the Americans will be able to turn two on a ground ball up the middle. They'll have to be quick. Savino Glasscock. Gingrich off first. Zangardi deals. Skied foul, out of play. For strike one. Americans are 6 outs away from ending a 12-game losing streak here against the Pioneers. Their last win came against the Pioneers on June 28th. Have not won a game in July yet, have the Americans. Here's the 0-1. Up and away, missing. Now 1-1. Americans ending their week with one of the more crazier games I've ever seen here. 17-8, a 10-run inning off of a ton of extra base hits. That one swung on and missed. So count now 1-2. Coming to Esley. Nine-run game right now. The Americans lead the Pios. 1-2 count. Pitch from Zangardi. Outside, just misses. Now 2-2. Zangardi, 5th appearance on the mound this season, looking to close this one out. 6 outs away from doing so. Checks on him at first. Now foul back. Staying alive is Manny Esley. Pioneers have scored 8 runs in this game on 5 hits. The Americans, 17 runs on 18 hits. A hit barrage tonight for the red, white, and blue here in game number 2. Pitch from Zangardi. Chop foul. Esley staying alive at home. It'll stay 2-2. MLB draft is finishing up today, so surprised if Logan Stickler gets a call here soon. 8 RBIs today, 2 grand slams. Might want to stay by his phone. Count 2-2. Zangardi pick off the first. Gingrich back in time. Pioneers had a game similar to this one. Now, the other side was not nearly as strong. Pioneers have scored 8, but Pioneers won a game the other night 23-0 against the Newark Pilots. So they've been on the other end of this hit parade before. As that one misses up and away, that'll load the count full. Zangardi really just looking to put this ball over the plate and give the Americans a shot at getting a victory for the first time in 12 games. Here's the 3-2. Fastball up and away. Ball 4. Savino, hands on his knees. Feeling the frustration. Americans need 6 outs before the Pios score 9 runs. That'll bring up Caleb Delaney. Delaney, an absolute hit machine for the Pios. He's on base all 3 times in this game and was on base every single time in game number 1 as well. 3 hits and a hit by pitch in game 1, so 3 for 3. And then today, a bunt single, a hit by pitch, and a walk. He fouls that one back. Now 0-1. Pitch from Zangardi. Misses low. Now 1-1 to Delaney. Nobody out in the inning. We're in the bottom of the 6th. 1-1 is the count. Americans lead 17-8 over the Elmira Pioneers. Here at Dunn Field, where the lights have just turned on. That one in the dirt. Gets past Sabella. Home plate umpire's arms go up. Looks like the ball went out of play. Behind home. Umpire will walk things over, give Sabella a chance Now the runners will retreat, so looks like the ball got lost on the play. The runners retreated back 90 feet to the bases they came from. First base coach for the Pioneers fired up about the play because they went back. Looks like there was time called on the play. So the pitch not there. Delaney fouls that one back. Now 2-2. Foul ball right back right here by the press box. Almost into the press box. Now 2-2. Two balls, two strikes, nobody out. First and second for the Pios. Pitch to Delaney from Zangardi. Upstairs misses, now 3-2. Zangardi looking to put this ball over the plate best he can. That's all the Americans need is outs. Anywhere they can get him. Here's the 3-2. Delaney checks his swing and he goes around. A strikeout. First time Delaney's gotten out at the plate today in 2 games. It's a strikeout. It'll bring up Nick Spanner for the Pios. Batting third, doing the catching here in game 2 for Elmira. Spanner today a walk and 2 outs, so 0 for 2. Pitch from Zangardi. Misses upstairs, 1-0. Due up for the Americans next inning. 4, 5, and 6. Ganschow, Favada, Stickler again. 1-0. Pitch from Zangardi out there. Called a strike on the outside corner. That one misses. So count is now 2-1. Zangardi tossing from the left side against the righty Spanner. Count 2-1. 1 out of the inning. Pitch from Zangardi. Skied out to right field. Gladfelter going back. He's underneath it. And he makes the play. Fires it in. Cut off by Savino. Gingrich tags up on the play. He goes from second to third. Esley stays put at first, so now runners at the corners. For the Pios, going to bring up Manny Castro, who's got a 3-run shot in this game. That feels like weeks ago at this point. Came in the first inning. Checks his swing there. A called strike either way. 0-1, 2 outs now in the inning. Runners at first and third for the Pioneers. They trail the Americans 17-8. The 0-1. Flied out to center. Harris coming on. And he makes the play for the third out of the inning. So the Americans are 3 outs away from ending a 12-game losing streak here at Dunn Field. Zangardi works around a couple of base runners and is able to get out of a jam without allowing any runs. We're headed to the top of the 7th here at Dunn Field. The Americans come to bat. They lead the Pioneers 17-8 here in Elmira, New York. As we take a look around the PGCBL West Division this evening, Utica and Boonville tied in the 8th inning. So there's the East Division. We'll start in the East. Utica and Boonville, 5-5 in the top of the 8th at the Robert Smith Sports Complex. Amsterdam trailing Glens Falls 3-1 at East Field in the bottom of the 3rd. Auburn ahead of Jamestown 5-4 at Dietrich Park in the bottom of the fourth. That's game 2 of a doubleheader. The Tarp Skunks took game 1 5-4. As we seem to have lost our camera. We'll get it back as soon as possible. Be right back here on the American Sports Network. We'll resume our look around the PGCBL West Division once we get our camera back.
The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the ongoing support of Blaze Brockway Contracting. Family owned and operated for over 15 years, Blaze Brockway Contracting specializes in all aspects of remodeling and renovation. Call 607-259-7607 for all of your construction and home improvement needs. A special thank you to Tropical Heating and Cooling for sponsoring the Americans this season. Locally owned and operated, Tropical Heating and Cooling provides expert installation, repair, and maintenance for home heating, cooling, and air quality systems. Call 716-870-0753 or head to tropicalheating.net to submit a service request and knock your heating and cooling needs out of the park. The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the ongoing support of Blaze Brockway Contracting. Family owned and operated for over 15 years, Blaze Brockway Contracting specializes in all aspects of remodeling and renovation. Call 607-259-7607 for all of your construction and home improvement needs.
We got our camera back here on the American Sports Network. Look around the PGCBL West Division. Auburn ahead of Jamestown. Like I said, they're in the bottom of the fourth at Dietrich Park. 5-4 in game 2 of a doubleheader. Olean defeated Newark 3-1 in game 1 of the doubleheader, now leading Newark 4-2 in the top of the 6th in game 2. So that's it live right now. Here are the Americans, the Pios, the Doubledays, the Tarp Skunks at Dietrich Park, and the Oilers and the Pilots at Colburn Park. All three in game 2 of a doubleheader. Ganschow now at the plate to lead things off here in the top of the 7th against the new arm for the Pios, Jacob Jones, a lefty out of Greensboro, North Carolina. Ahead in the count 0-1 against Ganschow, who just checked his swing but went around. Second pitch of the at-bat outside, missing. Now 1-1. We're in the top half of the 7th here at Dunn Field. A game of all games. Pitch to Ganschow inside, missing. Now 2-1. Ganschow in this game 3 for 3 with 3 doubles and an RBI. Ahead in the count 3-0. The pitch. Outside, he walked him. So Jacob Jones comes on, issues a leadoff walk to Matt Ganschow, who's on for the 4th time today. And that'll bring up Vinny Favada at the plate for the red, white, and blue. Favada today, he walked his last time up, but he's got 2 hits. Otherwise, he's reached all 4 times. Ganschow off first. Pitch. Taken upstairs for a ball. 1-0. Americans lead 17-8. Up 9 runs. Ganschow now off first. Favada at the plate against the lefty Jones. Jones out of the stretch. Deals to Favada. Favada checks his swing. He went around. Strike 1. So count is evened up at 1. Jones, a lefty, 6'4", 195 pounds. Fastball anywhere from 88 to 91 out there on the bump from the left side. Deals to Favada inside. Ball now 2-1. Favada ahead. A good hitter's count for a guy that's reached 4 times tonight. looking to make that 5. Pitch. Up and out. Ball 3. Jones struggling to find the zone here against Vinny Favada. Count 3-1. Gancha off first. Favada at the plate. Jones deals. Outside, ball 4. He's walked the first 2 he's faced. Here in the top of the 7th. That'll bring up Logan Stickler once again for this Americans team. An unbelievable bat today. He's 2 for 2 with 2 grand slams, 8 RBIs. Reached on an error also in the game, so he's been on base 3 out of 4. Vada off first, Ganchow off second. Jones pitches to Stickler inside, called strike 1 with a heater. Stickler in his second year with the Americans plays his collegiate ball at the University of Northwestern Ohio, an NAI school in Lima. Pitch to Stickler, hits him. Was an off-speed pitch. Stickler looks okay. Took a tumble, but that'll load the bases. That'll bring up Alex Glasscock. Stickler jogs down to first. He's all good. No harm, no foul. Glasscock now at the plate for the Americans. So in the inning for the red, white, and blue, 2 walks and a hit by pitch. Now the bases are loaded. Stickler off first, hit by pitch. Favada and Ganchow, second and third respectively, each a walk. Nobody out. Glasscock at the plate. 0 for 1 today. Fouls that one off. For strike 1. Glasscock started this summer playing for the Horseheads Hitmen nearby in Horseheads, New York. But that team unfortunately folded, so now Glasscock coming to Niagara Falls to play with the Americans. Count is 0-1 against Glasscock. Pitch from Jones. Fouled off once again, now 0-2. Glasscock came into the game at second base, took Adam Weiss's spot in the order. His first time at the plate, grounded out to third. Back in the 6th. Bases are loaded. Count 0-2 here against Glasscock. Jones on the mound. Pitch. In there. Called. Strike 3. Glasscock down on strikes looking. There's the first out of the inning. So Jones suddenly 1 pitch away with Savino coming to the plate, who doubled his last time up the plate and came around to score in that crazy 6th inning, which out on the scoreboard is written as 0, but actually scored 10. There's only enough room for single digits out there on the board. So a 10-run inning for the Americans. Jones out of the stretch. Deals the 0-0 to Savino inside. Almost hit him. Ball 1. Jones, not a soft arm by any means, tossing from the left side here against the Americans. Count 1-0. Pitch to Savino. Outside, missing. Now 2-0. Savino from Niagara Falls, New York. The hometown hero. Went to Niagara Falls High School. Played golf in high school. Was the salutatorian of his high school class. At one point was ranked very highly in the state of New York. Number 9 shortstop in all of his high school class. Takes that one outside. Now 3-0 here against Jacob Jones. In the top of the 7th. Mercy rule cannot be in effect as the Pioneers are the home team, so they must bat at least 7 times. now that they've started the 7th. Pio's got to get out of this inning one way or another. Here's the 3-0 to Savino. In there, called strike with a fastball in the outside corner. Now 3-1. Savino 2 for 4 in this game, a single and a double. Was 1 for 3 with an RBI in game 1. Strikeout, a fly out, and another single. Pitch outside corner. That one called a strike as well. Count now full. Jones on the mound for the Pioneers. Here in the top of the 7th. Count is full, 1 out in the inning. Stickler off first, Vivada off second, Ganchow off third. Jones out of the stretch, deals to Savino, and there's ball 4. He's walked in a run. Americans have a 10-run lead. Ganchow comes around to score on the play. RBI walk for Savino. And that'll bring up Michael Sabella. His 3rd at-bat in the last 2 innings. Sabella, a switch hitter, batting from the right side against the lefty Jones. Pitch in there, called strike 1 against Sabella. 18-8 now, the Americans lead. Here's the 0-1 to Sabella. Pitch. Skied out the other way, but goes foul. Now 0-2. Bases are loaded. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. 0-2 is the count. Michael Sabella at the plate. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Chop back towards the middle. Fielded by Tidwell. On to second for 1. On to first. It's a 6-4-3 inning ender for the Pios. A much-needed ground ball by Jacob Jones. He gets out of the inning. 1 run in the inning on no hits, no errors, and 3 runners left on base. 2 runners left on base, excuse me. We've played 6.5 innings, and the Americans are 3 outs away from ending their 12-game losing streak. Here at Dunn Field in Elmira, New York, Dominic Zangardi coming on to close this one out.
The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank McDonald's for being a sponsor of the team this year. With an extensive menu of well-known favorites, McDonald's is famous for its convenience. Especially during a long baseball season, McDonald's is the perfect place to grab a quick bite to eat and get right back to the ballpark. So head to your nearest McDonald's and enjoy all the classics. The Niagara Falls Americans thank Casella Waste Systems for their continued support. Casella offers sustainable waste management and garbage pickup right here in Niagara Falls. As an environmental service provider, Casella manages and transforms society's waste into new resources. Call 716-637-4843 to get a price quote on garbage pickup.
Back here at Dunn Field, we're headed to the bottom of the 7th. Here in Game 2 of a 7-inning doubleheader. I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. The Americans are 3 outs away from ending a 12-game losing streak. They have not gotten a win since June 28th against the Elmira Pioneers. Came in Game 2 of a doubleheader, shockingly enough. Americans are close to doing it tonight against the Pios. 3 outs away. Dominic Zangardi on the mound, out of the windup. First pitch, upstairs. Ball 1 to Alex Davis. So a 1-0 count coming. Davis 0 for 1 today. Swings and misses at that one. Evens up the count at 1. Davis's last time at the plate, he walked in the 5th, stole a base, hit by a pitch in the 1st, but flew out to center in the 3rd. Swings and misses there once again. Now 1-2. Davis, the extra hitter here in game number 2, as well as in game number 1. 1-2 from Zangardi outside, missing now 2-2. Davis wears number 5 for the Pios from Liberty, Pennsylvania, plays his collegiate ball at Penn State Harrisburg, a Division III school, branch campus of Penn State. Checks his swing there, goes around, strike 3, first out of the inning. That'll bring up Brandon Dubeck. So 1 out of the inning. Here's Brandon Dubeck. Nobody on. A 0-0 count. Inside pitch just misses. Ball 1. Zangardi on the bump for the Americans. His 3rd inning of work. Count 1-0. Pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Count even now at 1. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Pioneers trail the Americans 18-8. 18 hits for the Americans, according to 5 for the Pios. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Zangardi quickly ahead, 1-2. Really grooving here in this inning. That one's chopped up the middle and through for a base hit. Harris will come over and cut it off and get the ball in. So a 1-out single for Brandon Dubeck. The Pios are not done yet. That'll bring up Jack Aylward, batting from the right side. Aylward from Lowell, Massachusetts. Goes to Northern Essex Community College. Transferred there from Westfield State, a Division III school. Pitch from Zangardi, outside corner, gets strike number 1. Runner at first in Brandon Dubeck after a single. Aylward 0 for 2 today with a hit by pitch. Zangardi deals. Aylward checks his swing. Sabella blocks it. Did not go on the swing attempt, though, so 1-1. Good block back there from Sabella. Done a good job tonight behind the plate in his first game behind the dish as an American this season. Only played at first so far this year. Zangardi out of the stretch. Deals the 1-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Gets it by Aylward. Trevor Reed looming on deck. He's still waiting for his first at-bat since coming into this game back in the top of the 6th. Pitch from Zangardi, hit into left center. That'll fall for a base hit. Harris comes over, cuts it off, station to station for the Pios. Now 1st and 2nd. Back-to-back singles for Elmira. So Tyler Adamo hit a double off the right field wall back in the 5th inning. That gave the Pios an 8-7 lead, but had to come out after rolling his ankle at second base. That one skied into foul ground by first base. Stickler a long run. He makes the play. Logan Stickler runs it down for the 2nd out of the inning. A nice job by Stickler. Able to run it down and haul it in. Helping out his pitcher, Zangardi, making a play in foul ground. There's 2 outs now in the inning. That'll bring up Jalen Tidwell. Pios down to their final out. Zangardi working out of the stretch. 1st and 2nd, 2 outs. Deals. Tidwell takes it on the outside corner for a strike. 0-1. Tidwell gives that one a ride out to left center. Ganchow ranging over. He can't get there. It'll fall for a base hit. Roll all the way to the wall. One run is in. Here comes Aylward. He'll round third. Tidwell round second. He's headed for third. Savino cuts it off, throws it in, and picked by Shank. Tidwell, a 2-out, 2-run triple. Says the Pios are not done yet. 2 runs now with 2 outs in the inning. 3 hits. 2 RBI triple for Jalen Tidwell. That'll bring up Tyson Gingrich. Gingrich at the plate, a lefty-lefty matchup for him. Playing in right field here in game 2. There's strike number 1 to Gingrich. 0-1, Zangardi ahead in the count. That one, check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Now 0-2. So the Pioneers are down to their final strike in Tyson Gingrich. Pitch. Called. Strike 3. And Zangardi does it. Ends the losing streak at 12. And for the first time in July, with life, liberty, and the pursuit of a victory, the Americans get it done tonight against the Elmira Pioneers at Dunn Field. So the Americans win this one 18-8, and they end their losing streak at 12. Their first win since June 28th against the Pioneers. Once again, the Americans pull it off against the Pios here tonight in Game 2 of a doubleheader. And they're able to do it on a massive win. Look at the final box score. The Americans, 18 runs on 18 hits. No errors and 10 men left on base. The Pioneers put up 10 runs on 8 hits, 1 error and 8 men left on base. The Americans pull it off. They win this one 18-10. I'm Tom Rook. I say thank you so much for joining me and spending part of your Sunday evening with me here on the American Sports Network. Again, I apologize for all of the technical trouble that we had this evening. But that's going to do it here on the American Sports Network. The Americans win this one by a final score of 18-10 here against the Elmira Pioneers at Dunn Field. The Americans will take on the Newark Pilots tomorrow night at home. Sal Magley Stadium, guaranteed win night. Looking to start a new winning streak. Myself, my partner, Ethan Duncan, will be live at 6:20 right here on the American Sports Network. I'm Tom Rook. Have a great